So what I'm going to do is do a PowerPoint and then go into the software. So first, this is me. So I'm the NVivo Community Director here, and in your chat area, and in fact, I'll go over some of the items in GoToWebinar to help you with asking questions. So if you go into, it's a orange box with a white arrow. If you click on that white arrow, you'll see at the bottom that there's a question area. So at any time, feel free to type in questions. I'll take questions at the end though. I'll answer them at the end. Also, I put in the chat area a link if you would like to join the NVivo community. I'm going to talk more about that at the end also. And everyone's on mute just to make it easier for people to hear. Now we are recording this, so basically 24 hours after this webinar, you'll get an email saying that the recording is here, and so you'll have that, and feel free to share that with people too. All right, thank you. So first, I just want to sort of talk about how we came about creating the new NVivo. There's a lot of thought and research behind it. So we talked to our current customers and hopefully future customers, people that don't currently use NVivo, but do some type of qualitative research. With our own customers, we did a survey and we got 6,500 responses, which was great. And we really listened to our customers to find out what their needs were to make sure the product was fitting that. And so based on that survey, we came up with our roadmap for the new NVivo. So one thing that came out in the survey that was very clear is that team-based research is here and has been, and it's something that well, we really wanted to address. So in the survey, 48% of respondents were interested in collaboration. A third was interested in teamwork. And then another finding was that 50% of our users are relatively new customers. So they've been using NVivo for less than a year. And then another part of this was that that 70% of respondents said that they really want to use or do research and analyzing on a mobile device. So we tried to address all this with the new NVivo. So we did a couple things that you'll see. We improved the NVivo user experience, so that's helping new customers and current customers be able to use NVivo easier, improve coding experience and visualizations, improve customer onboarding, so especially for those relatively new customers to get them up and started faster. We also have integration with Word, Excel, and Outlook. So if you're wanting more mobility, this is one way we can offer it. And then really important is that teamwork aspect. So how can we help researchers share their projects and work as a team? So QSR, we're the #1 qualitative data analysis softwares. We've been around for a long time working with qualitative researchers, and we take a lot of pride in that. We want to make sure we're creating a product that helps you by being innovative. I found this really interesting. We did some research looking at the Scopus database, and we found that NVivo is really the most cited qualitative data analysis software out there in peer-reviewed journal articles, so that was exciting to see. And for this presentation, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through how NVivo can help through your research process. So collecting data, we now have the integration with Office products, so that will help you with mobility. For your transcribing, we have NVivo Transcription, which is a separate module, but is integrated into NVivo. We have Manage, Analyze, and Visualize. We know you're doing that, and we have the NVivo Desktop. To collaborate, we now have NVivo Collaboration, which is an add-on module that I'll be showing you. And then our goal is obviously to help you publish, so enhanced referencing and visualization tools in NVivo. You can bring all these data types into NVivo. So I just want to show that to people. So sometimes people don't realize everything that you can bring into NVivo. We integrate with bibliographical software, with survey software, with Qualtrics and SurveyMonkey, but you can always bring in an Excel survey into NVivo to analyze it. So with that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through those steps of the research process. So first, I'm going to show you screenshots of the integration tool with Office. And so this is what it looks like. It does come with NVivo, so it's a 12-month free subscription. You can send your data from Word, Excel, or Outlook, and Outlook is only in Windows just because Mac doesn't have Outlook available. Install the NVivo extension from the Microsoft App Store. And you'll see this. So we have a My NVivo portal, which gives you access to everything that you use with NVivo. And so you just sign up for an account, and you would be able then to send your work to NVivo after you log in. And then you don't have to log in after, so that's nice. And then how it works is that you would use Word, Excel, and Outlook on any device at any location and then send it to NVivo. You can add tags, a summary, and notes for easy sorting and organizing. So I just wanted to say a note here. You can create the tags, but right now the tags won't automatically become codes, and the summary and notes won't automatically become memos. I think that's something they're looking to do in the future, hopefully. And then you log in NVivo and you collect the sent files. So you can see what it looks like here, send files to NVivo. So this allows you to really work from any device and anywhere. And so then part of the transcription is that we have our two options for transcription. So we have our end user, so pay as you go transcription model, but we now have something, it's the same product, but now it's a lot easier for enterprise or organizations to buy a bulk of transcription, and it's based on a subscription. And so this is what it looks like. So this is the one for administrators that want to have their whole university or whole organization have access to NVivo transcription at one central place. So it's easy to manage, simple to add and remove users. Transcription entitlement allocation. So again, the IT admin or whoever is responsible would also be able to just upload Excel or CSV file with the users to allocate transcription. Again, it's part of that portal I talked about before. And once the account is created, the user will be able to see their subscriptions. So the end user, and then user will now have access to, they could have access to their enterprise or organization's account, but they also might have their own account, so they'd have access to that also. So this is just a quick demo of what it looks like. So to manage, this is from the admin's point of view. So for you, for people watching, if you think this could help, really get your transcription costs down at your organization, just let us know at the end. You can email me and we can give you more information about this. And so this is what it looks like for one user, adding one user, many users, so on. So now I'm going to go to the NVivo Desktop, because once you've collected your data, you've transcribed it, you want to be able to analyze it. So first I'm going to go into what you see when you come into NVivo. So when you open up NVivo now, you have this screen. So it has, you can see I'm logged into my account there. It has a getting started tutorial. We have a great customer hub, which has a lot of good resources that goes right to our website, NVivo Academy to find online courses, free transcription if you want to try the transcription. But what's really exciting, we now have a total of 5 sample projects. So we have the sample project multi-method, which is the same Down East sample project we've had for a while. We've always had the sample project automated insights, which is based on a survey data, but now we also have, if you go here to more sample data, it will take you to a literature review sample, a mixed methods sample, and a survey sample project. So feel free to test those out. So if I create a new project in NVivo, I can give it a title. And I can browse and go save it in a location where I want to go find it easier. So you can see this is much more visible in this new NVivo. I can give it transcription. I can keep a log of user actions. I can pick the language for the interface right here, and then just go next. And now it's easier for me to decide how I want to save, and then also project recovery. I have options here. So I create the project. And right away, so to help people that are new to NVivo or just people new to this new NVivo, we have a start tour, a quick guide to take you through the different parts. So it's going to help me show me where I import, where I organize my coding, where I organize my cases, organize notes, explore the queries, explore visualizations, and then here it's going to show me all the modules that are now a part of NVivo in that they're add-ons, but NVivo Collaboration, Cloud, the Transcription, and the Office for 12 months, like I said, will be part of NVivo. Also to help people understand the different sections or parts of the software, we have these easy sort of guides. So it's going to tell me what files are, because that's where it comes first. And then I can go to more and it will take me to the help menu. So a really exciting new part of NVivo is our new interface look. So it's much cleaner, more modern, easier to find things. So you can see here up in the ribbon, it's easy for me to get to different parts of the software, but I also have drop downs. So it's a little bit more intuitive. Also the navigation panel here, we have it into sections. So import is where you're going to bring your data. Organize is where you're coding, keeping your cases, your notes, your sets, and explore is where your queries and visualizations and reports can be found. And then here's the workspace we've always had. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just import some files here. So just go to data and sample data, and I'll bring in all these interviews. So the importing and all that's the same. They'll come in. Okay, so it came in and you can see now I open up Barbara's interview here. What I like is you have this really easy bar up here to get what you need to. So if I need to edit Barbara's transcript, I just click on edit and can go here. I also have an easy way to get to annotations, my coding stripes, the codes, highlighting, zooming in, and see also links. So it's all right there. So one thing I do want to make sure to show you, which is new, is the code panel. So this is a little easier way to organize your coding. And so for example, if I wanted to create a new code here, so she's talking about field work. So if I want to make a code about field work, I'll just go up to create code. I'm going to call field work. I could give it a description. And we have also new is many more choices for highlighting. So I think we used to have 7, now we have 15. So let's say I pick blue, okay. So you can see field work comes up here. So if I want to code that, let's code this section, drag and drop. And then when I bring up the coding stripes, you can see that field work is here and it's dark blue. And if I click on it, it actually highlights in the same color as a coding stripe, which I'm very excited about. Another new option with coding stripes is I can go from vertical to horizontal with the name. So again, easier for you to read. So that these are new functions with coding. So the coding panel here, so you can code to the codes and cases very easily. You have the coding stripe that colors, highlights, and then also can become go from horizontal to vertical or vice versa. So that's new with coding. And then everything else really it's different symbols here. It looks a little different, but everything else is similar. So as you know, with NVivo, you can do transcription in two ways. So I have an audio file here. So I could choose to do the transcription mode here. So when I played, I could then type myself. Yeah, saying. But another option, which I meant actually to have this up before, but I'll show you the login, so it might not be so bad. So I'll go to my NVivo transcription account. So, I was already logged in, so it came up. But you can see here, so I have my own account. I can get, and it's easy for me to follow what I've done, not just with transcription, but with the collaboration module and the Office integration. So in NVivo, I can choose to go to the modules, modules, and go to transcribe here, and it will then allow me to transcribe right within NVivo. So I upload the audio, and then what it does allows me to go to the editing mode. So if I go into the NVivo transcription product, it will actually allow me to edit. So I can do the speakers, change the speakers. I can listen to it. I can slow down the speed of the audio if I need to edit anything. But you can see here what's nice, it follows where I am in the document. I can export this to Word or text file and bring it into NVivo that way, but since it does integrate, it will just come in as a transcript into NVivo also. And then I'll just show you what a video looks like. And the transcription, I should mention that it does save you a lot of time. It takes, if you had a 60-minute audio file, it'd only take you 30 minutes for NVivo to transcribe for you. So the video looks pretty much the same too. It is the same, has all the same functions. And now because I need to work with more data, I'm going to go to the sample project. So I'm going to go here. So now I'm in the sample project. And this way I can show you like images. So what I want to do here actually is, I think it's easier for people, because typically on these webinars we have people that know NVivo very well and then many that are new to NVivo. So what I want to do is create a code here. So I'm going to create a code called issues. And you can see it's right here. So now I'll just show you how I can code to different types of data. So if I want to capture these nets and code it, I can do that. To environmental issues. You can also code on the text here. What's nice too, if I edit, I can also, if I wanted to make a comment about the boats in the background here, I can ask the software to insert a link in the picture. And then that ties back. I can click on that and it will show me exactly what I'm talking about in regards to the picture. So a lot of people I know are starting to do photo voice or different things with images. That can be very helpful. And then I just want to go back and code again an interview to show what it looks like when I put it in a code. So I can, again, highlight, drag and drop, and put it into environmental issues. I could also have that coding panel I showed you earlier up, and it's showing me all my codes here, and even my child codes. And then I'm also going, excuse me, open up an audio file to code, so I can play the audio and then decide when I want to start coding and when I want to finish coding. And so you see I have that little blue box there, so I'd put that in the code. And you can also code on the text easily. Video, same thing. I could choose to play and start and finish coding, or I can also code a section of the video. And you can also code the text. PDFs, so if you're using NVivo for a literature review, which I highly recommend, I did, it was very helpful. I can bring in and even integrate with the bibliographical software, and so I can code right on the text of the PDF. I can also code on the picture, so here I just need to change from text to region, and then if I want to bring this chart into the code, I can. Now, one thing you notice, I'm not saying node anymore. I want to point out that we don't have that term anymore in the software. It's just codes now, which I think will make it easier for people to get up and started and running with NVivo. So if you hear me say nodes, it's just from habit. So hopefully I'm not saying it too much. You can also bring in social media like Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. So it comes in, you actually are going to use our tool called Encapture. So if you want to bring in information from, I'll just show you that from a website, you can just go right here. And so if I go to resources, or if I wanted to bring in information from our great new website, I'll just show Customer Hub. So if I wanted to bring in this, I just go to Encapture here, go to web page, and then NVivo converts it into a PDF and brings it in. And that's what they did here. They went to the Twitter account and what they wanted to bring in and used Encapture to do that. But then it allows you to code on the tweets. The rest of the grayed out area is going to be created as attributes. So then later you could ask the software, well, I want to compare what the different hashtags said, for example. So I'm just going to highlight this, bring it in. You can also bring in surveys. So NVivo has a great survey wizard tool. So I'm just going to show you what that looks like. I won't go through the whole thing, but I just want to show you if I want to bring in Excel survey. What it will do is it will go through this wizard. So it will have my respondents will become cases. So think of those as my units of analysis. So what I'm studying. Closed-ended questions become attributes, my demographic information, and then the open-ended questions become my codes. So it's a really easy to use and very quick. But if I go and show you what a survey looks like in NVivo, so it gets imported, so the open-ended questions can be coded, and the other information will become attributes or your demographic information. So again, I can easily code this. So now I coded a bunch of different sources to environmental issues, so I'll just show you what that looks like in the code. So on the right here, I have tabs. So right now I'm in the reference tab, so it's showing me all the different sources that I coded to environmental issues. This becomes very important when you want to write about. So if environmental issues is something I'm going to be writing about, it's easy for me to export this to a Word document and work from there. And then you can also see that it's going to show me what I coded for text here on the right, the PDF that was coded, the pictures that was coded. So if I had a bunch, I'd have thumbnails right appear, thumbtacks right appear with different pictures, the audio file, that part, so that will play back in the code. And then same with the video, and then it's going to show me what was coded for data sets. So that was all me coding, and so now I want to show you some ways that the software can help you code. So I'm just going to close that. So we have some queries under the Explore tab that really help jumpstart your analysis. So for example, a word query here. So I'll just do 100 words, and I could do stem words, synonyms, and these specializations. I'm going to run the query. And so what comes up now, it's going to show you that, yes, there's some words that have been added to the stop word list, like the A, but I can also add my own. So if I didn't want the word, for example, get, I can add it to the stop word list, click OK, and the software will remove that word from the list if I run the query again. So you can see it's gone. On the right here, we have our word cloud. Now the word cloud has been improved, so it's much higher of a resolution. So it might take a little bit longer to run, but that's just because we did hear from people that the word cloud needed to be crisper when we exported it for your reports. So that's what we did. So you can still export the word cloud, but I can also run a text search query from here. So I want to see what people said about water. So I just clicked on water and I'll run a text search query. And so here it's showing me all the sources that talk about water. And if I go to the word tree on the right, this is another nice visual. It's showing me the words or phrases that come before water and after water. And so something that sort of is highlighted here, it catches my eye, is they're talking about water quality. So if I want to see what they said about water quality, I can just run a text search query from here. And now it's going to give me the actual content about water quality from those sources. For me, typically this isn't enough information, so I can also ask the software to do broad context and run it again, so I get all the content around water. And so what's nice here, the software just did a lot of work for me. So I now know what all the sources I asked to look for talked about in regards to water quality. So I can save this as a code. So I'm going to save the results in my codes, and I'm going to call it water quality. Could give it a description, and now you'll see it'll come in under my codes here. So again, a real easy way to jumpstart your coding and your work in NVivo. Another way to jumpstart your work, so now another nice thing about the new NVivo is let me go to interviews and I'll show you everything. Hold on. So I'm going to pick all my interviews, and I have the auto coding option. So now when you purchase NVivo, the auto coding function comes with the software. Before it was only in Plus, so yay, that's great. There is a upgrade, I think, path from Pro to NVivo. If you want to upgrade, that's on our website, information on that. So here I have the auto code wizard. I could identify themes, identify sentiment. Another one that I think is helpful is use existing coding patterns. So if you code about 10% of your data in the project, NVivo learns how you're coding and will help you with that. Just want to see if anybody had, so let me do identifying themes. So I'll go next, and it's going to go through, you can see going through all my interviews here. And so it gives me this coding hierarchy. So I have phishing, I can see the subcodes underneath phishing. I can ask it not to bring in one of the codes. So I'll just go to next. It can either code by sentences or paragraphs. I'll just stay with sentences here. It actually puts the finding or the codes in a separate folder, which I think is helpful because maybe I do want to keep that separate. I might bring some of those codes into my own coding, but that way I have that option. So now it's going to give me two visuals at the end of it, going through and creating the codes. So the first visual is a hierarchical chart. So I can see the different codes and then the subcodes underneath it. Like anything in NVivo, if I double click on a cell or a box, it will take me to the content there. And then you also have this table that's showing me all the interviews and all the themes or codes there. And what's nice, this is why people tend to use this. So at the beginning of your research process, when you bring in your data, you might want to do this just to get a big broad brush overview of what's happening. So obviously people are talking a lot about phishing, so maybe that's where I want to start looking in my data. Also at the end of your coding, you might want to run this to see if you reach saturation. Did the software pick up something that you hadn't picked up? And then if I go to codes here, you'll see that these are now in the auto-coded themes. Another way to look at your coding is to do the sentiment analysis. So I'm just going, again, pick all these interviews, go to autocode and run identify sentiment. So it's going through the interviews right here. And so it's going to show me positive or negative. It's an algorithm that does that. So again, I get the hierarchical chart, but I also have the table, which I think is helpful. So I have the interviews and it's showing me what's positive and negative. And then if I go to the sentiment folder here under codes, I can actually open it up. So one thing the software doesn't catch is sarcasm. So if you needed to change that, that's very easy. I can just highlight this, right click and change sentiment maybe to very negative. So now I just, just to show you cases are the same. So my people here, my interviewer are right here. So you can bring in all the different data you have about your participants or units of analysis into the case, and then the case classifications, same thing, you have the demographic data. So that's all the same, it just has a new look to it. Also notes, so you have your memos, the framework matrix, annotations, so those all do the same thing. For the framework matrix, so if people haven't used this before, I'll just show you quickly. It's actually a really nice feature. I find it helpful. So if I wanted to share with someone that's either doesn't have NVivo or with my advisor or with a colleague, I can create a framework matrix and I'd be able to share some of the coding I did with them. So give a name, rows. So you do have to work with cases for this. So I'll go select my cases people. So I'll just select some of my interview participants here. And then when I go to columns, I just need to select some code. So I'm just going to select some under the economy here. And I'll click OK. And so it's going to create this matrix, basically, a spreadsheet. And when I need to ask it to auto summarize, and then it will bring in all the data on that. So then I can see what Barbara, what she said about different codes here, Betty, and so to me this would be a nice way also to be able to write your final report, and you can just export this to Excel. So I want to show that to people. Sets, same stat. We have, I think the terminology is a little different. We have static sets and dynamic sets here, but the sets do the same thing that they did before. And then I do want to show you some queries. So the queries, if I go to the Explore tab here, I have text, word, matrix coding query. All the others are just under the query here, and there's a drop-down menu. So I'll just show you the cross-tab query. And again, what's nice is you have this explanation. And so if I go here, I'm just going, again, pick the codes under economy. And then I can look at my demographic information here and ask the software to go by age group. So now it's creating a table for me based on what the different age groups said about these codes. And it adds a totally unique value. What's nice is with our tables, you can export to SPSS if you like and run more statistical analysis on it. And then so the matrix coding is similar too. I'll show you that because one nice thing is our charts are much crisper. So I want to show that to you also. So I'm just going to pick these codes under natural environment. And then in this case, I'm going to pick more codes under the economy. And I'll run the query. So you get this table here, which can always be exported, but if I go to the chart, you can see the chart is much it's more modern and crisper looking, so you can export that to put into a report. So I just want to make sure I'm covering everything that oh, the visual. So I also want to show you the visuals. So the visuals, the maps have also been modernized. So for example, the mind map here, this is typically used like a whiteboard. Then you can bring in different items and really think about your project or your coding structure. So this is more modern. The concept map, same thing, much better look to it, does the same thing. And the project map too. And then just one last thing I want to show you is a social network analysis. And so I'm going to go to people and pick Maria here and go to explore. And I have these options for the social network analysis. So I'm going to do an ego sociogram. So now this comes with NVivo. It used to be just in Plus. So you have this sociogram, which is showing you the connections and mentions. So Maria is at the center here, the star, because it's about her connections and her mentions. So again, this is nice that it's part of NVivo for you to use. So that's really the desktop. So what I want to do is I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint and talk about the collaboration options and show you screenshots of the collaboration cloud. So now you have these two great options for collaboration with NVivo. So the cloud, it is cloud-based. It's working with one project file. You can set permissions. It's secure. It's an Azure, so it's the same security that you have with Microsoft. It's GDPR compliant. You can basically download and upload process, and it's meant for teams of up to 5. 1 to 5, or sorry, 2 to 5, and then collaboration server. It's what we used to call NVivo for Teams. So this is where you can work simultaneously as a team on the same project, but you do have to install this at your location on a dedicated server at your organization. And then you could always collaborate standing alone by merging projects together. So for the collaboration cloud, I just want to show you how it works. So you can access NVivo Collaboration Cloud and invite team members to work on specific projects. Admin users can assign roles and projects for each team member, team members will only be able to see projects in the workspace that they have. So you have the workspace here, this is the project, and then the roles that people have. So if you're the administrator, you see all this, and then you can see the members by their initials on who's working with which project. So the admin users can see the status, like I just said, of, oh, well, this is the status. So you can see, is it in progress? They've been invited, or it's ready to merge. Individual contributors will have access to the latest master version of the project. The team members upload their contributions for a project owner to review, and then the project owner merges the changes. So basically, you're able to create one project, share it easy with other team members. They're going to work on it on their desktop. They'll bring it back to the project owner, and that person will then merge it together to create that new project for people to work in. And then this is the NVivo collaboration server. It has been updated, but it does have the same functionality that it did before. And then to help you publish, these are just looking at the new visualizations that we have that are much crisper and sharper. And I just want to go over the NVivo solutions for you. So here, if we follow this research process, for collecting data a little easier and more mobile, we have the NVivo integration that comes with NVivo for 12-month subscription. To help you transcribe, we have NVivo Transcription, either pay as you go, so for more individuals, and then unlimited use for, you pay for it, but it's for a university or an organization to have access. NVivo Desktop, so we have Windows and Mac. For people that work with people with Mac, I want to say that the interface on the Mac looks like the interface for Windows. That's pretty exciting. NVivo collaboration, so we have the NVivo collaboration cloud now, and then NVivo collaboration server. And then for NVivo learning journeys, to help you really enhance using NVivo, we have NVivo certification course that'll be coming soon, one-on-one coaching, and our on-site workshops. So this is just going over the learning journey. So the courses will be available in May, and then we'll have more focused learning modules in June. But if you go to that hub, the customer hub is really, really helpful right now to help you get started. And then this is NVivo community. So I would love it if people would join our community. What we're trying to do is create a global network within disciplines across organizations, and really create a community of practice amongst qualitative and mixed methods researchers. So join the community. We'll let you know when we have upcoming events. What I am doing is doing what I'm calling NVivo research networks virtually right now because of the situation we're in, and I'm trying to do it within a region. So that's something we're working on, for example, and expert webinars are coming soon too. So I put that in the chat area on GoToWebinar. So at this point, and then this is just system requirements if people want, but I'm happy to take questions now. So let me just go through.
Okay, yep. So we do have quite a few questions. First question, is the new NVivo just as powerful as NVivo 12 Plus?
Yes, it's basic. It has everything and more than what Plus has. So if I go, sorry, let me just get out of the PowerPoint here. So it has basically what Plus had, but then we also added, especially around the coding features that I mentioned, and the new interface. So the interface, I think, makes it more powerful also. So you have the coding panel, and then it's easy to get to the coding stripes here. And what's nice, it highlights in the same color. So there were some additional things added too.
Okay. For Outlook, will attachments be sent to NVivo?
Yes, so if you use the Office integration, now I do, so you go to modules here if I didn't show that, and you can get to the different modules that integrate with NVivo. So I do want to be clear, the Office, it will be out soon, but if you'll get it automatically when it comes out, and it will then upload to NVivo.
Okay. More on kind of the use of NVivo. Does this show the citations and bibliography when you code for the lit review?
So we do have a lit review sample project now, so I would say definitely go to that and look at that and work with it. But what happens is when you import from bibliographical software like EndNote, for example, it will bring in the, so I'll just go to file. I think it's easier to show you what will happen. So if I go to file classifications here, so this is for references. You can see what will happen. It will bring in this type of information because it's already in EndNote. So when you import that, it will come in with the author, your title, all that, and the abstract will come in too. And then you can also import the article. So I think I answered that. So it won't go, I mean, it will be attached to, so this information will be attached to the article. So when you go to code on the articles, this information will be attached to it. So then you could do things like a matrix coding query that looks at, well, I want to see all what I coded within a certain publication year or years or a certain author. So you can't do that. So I think that answered the question.
Okay. And the next question, are there specific tutorials for textual analysis, video and audio analysis and coding?
So basically this is being recorded and I did show you how to do it, maybe a little bit fast, but if you go to our website under resources, we have on-demand webinars, and so these type of webinars will be on there. We do, right now they're older ones on NVivo 12, but it really is the same process as new NVivo. And then also the customer hub will have a lot of good information too.
Next question was about accessibility. Is it possible to increase the font size of the interface?
Well, if you need to, you can just, if you're, NVivo should follow the same display settings that you have on your computer. So I've had to do that before where I have to make it look bigger for people on a webinar. So you would just use the computer settings to do that, and then it will make it larger. But if I go, I'm just going to see if I go to interview, you can also make the interview itself larger. So I want to make, let's get rid of coding stripes in the coding panel to show this. Down here on the right, there's a plus, so I can make it larger from in NVivo too, if that's what you're asking.
Okay. Is it possible to work simultaneously on Collaboration Cloud?
So not at this point. It's you would work individually, but then be able to easily share the project with each other with the project owner, who would then merge it, and then you'd be able to have access to that merged project. So if you want to work simultaneously, it'd be the NVivo, the collaboration server product.
Okay. Do we have, sorry, do you know when the Office integration will be available?
Very soon, and I'm sure there will be an announcement when that comes out.
And you mentioned a tab for mixed methods. How does that work?
So that is actually a sample project. So if, let me just go close. So I just take you to the first screen. Oop. Oh, sorry, I meant to go to file. Close. You want to save? No. Okay, here. So if you go here to more sample projects, it will then take you to the sample projects that I talked about, which were the mixed methods sample project, the lit review sample project, and the survey sample project.
Okay. What languages can NVivo transcribe from? And I think probably best if I just give the person the 26,
7.
27 different
I think it's
languages.
7.
Yeah, I think you
Yeah.
might be right. That
Yeah,
it,
and that's right on our website too.
okay. Um, do we know when there'll be a certification course?
So that is, I believe, coming out by May, the NVivo certification user course, so that you can take as an individual and then you get a certification. So um, it's for a user versus we have expert and trainer certification, so that's much more involved, and you have to go through more hoops to get that certification, because then you're training people basically. But the user one, I think it's great. It'll be really helpful for students and anyone learning NVivo.
Perfect. Is the Mac version compatible with NVivo? The Mac version compatible with the Windows version?
So I just want to say that, and that the interface looks the same here. The only difference is the Mac does not have the auto coding by theme or sentiment, or the social network analysis, or the framework matrix that I showed you. And for the module for Office, you can just use Word and Excel. But you can, so it'll be easier to work, but you will still have to convert your Mac project into a Windows project, or vice versa, to use it on your Windows or your PC or Mac. So that's pretty much the same, except that it's so much easier for people to get around the projects now because the interface is the same.
Do you have some examples of where there is still differences between the Windows version and the Mac version?
I'm sorry, what do you? Oh,
It's,
examples.
yeah.
So I think I just said all of them. I don't have access. Like, I'm on a PC right now. I am doing a Mac demo at 1 Boston time, but we're recording that. So
Yeah.
if people wanted, they'd be able to see it that way. I think that's the best way to, and also maybe go to our website, because we could have screenshots of the Mac on the website too.
Yep. Can you actually, quite a couple of people asking questions about the availability of non-English UI for the new version, and I believe that's May this year, right? That we're targeting.
Yes, yes.
Question on, can you code on the abstract?
Yes, you can. When you import it from bibliographical software, it comes in, or if you copy and paste or import it yourself, yes, you can.
Okay, and actually, I've had two questions on kind of forward compatibility. It might be worth also mentioning backwards compatibility as well.
Sure. So basically, if you have the new NVivo, you can convert any older NVivo project, any older version, 12, 11, 10, 8, into the new NVivo, although you can't go backwards. So if you're using new NVivo and somebody you're working with has NVivo 12 or 11, they won't be able to open up the new NVivo project. So just to, and that's always been the case whenever we've had a new version.
With Collaboration Server, how many people can code the same project at the same time?
Really as many as people have access to the to the project. So typically what happens if you're working in an interview and coding, another person can't actually code the same interview, but they'll get assigned, or they'll get notice saying, oh, somebody's done with that interview, you can use it now, but they can work in the same project together on another interview at the same time that you're working on it, your interview.
Interesting question. Can you run the new NVivo and NVivo 12 on the same PC?
Yeah, you can. I've been able to do that. Yep, you can.
Okay. Let's see if there's any more. I think that might be all of the questions, so we've answered them all. So yeah.
Great. So thank you. Thanks, Alex, for helping with the questions. And
Oh, sorry,
thanks
Stacey,
everyone for.
just one
Yeah,
more.
sorry. Oh yeah, no
If
problem.
you have the unlimited transcription option, can you have more than one admin?
Ooh, good question. I don't want to give you the wrong answer, so I'm not 100% sure on that. So we'll take that. You can either sometimes the best thing to do is to uh, email me that kind of question, but we will have it on the GoToWebinar report, so we can find out for you, and we'll get back to you.
Perfect, that's it.
Great. All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us, and stay safe out there.